The Walmart overnight shift paid surprisingly well. That's the only reason I took it. I wasn't planning to stay long, just needed something temporary after getting laid off from a warehouse job outside Indianapolis. The manager who hired me said overnight stocking was easy work. Quiet store, fewer customers, less stress. That turned out to be true during the first week, mostly. The Walmart sat just off Interstate 70, open 24 hours except for a few hours during cleaning. During the day, it was chaos, families, screaming kids, packed checkout lines. But after midnight, the place changed completely. The giant store felt too big once it emptied out. Aisles stretched forever under fluorescent lights. Entire sections completely silent. You could stand near electronics at 2 a.m. and hear a pallet jack moving all the way across grocery. That kind of silence. Most overnight employees kept earbuds in while stocking shelves. Nobody talked much. Everyone just wanted the shift to end. The overnight manager was a guy named Rick, late 50s, tired eyes, the kind of man who looked permanently exhausted. He trained me my first night. Break rooms in the back, he said while walking fast through the aisles. Don't block emergency exits with pallets. If customers ask questions, pretend you know where stuff is. I laughed a little. Rick didn't. Then he stopped near the employee hallway leading toward the security office. There's one thing though, he said. The way he said it made me pay attention immediately. If the overhead announcement plays at 3:13, he paused. Don't respond to it. I stared at him. What announcement? Rick immediately started walking again. You'll know if you hear it. That was it. No explanation. At first I thought he was joking. Every overnight workplace has weird traditions for new employees. Ghost stories, fake rules, whatever. Still, something about his tone stayed with me. He didn't sound amused. The first few shifts were completely normal. Stock shelves, move inventory, help the occasional late-night customer. That was it. Most nights blurred together until Friday. Friday nights were different. More people, more weirdness, teenagers wandering around at 1 a.m., truck drivers grabbing energy drinks, people buying strangely specific things in the middle of the night. The overnight crew hated Fridays. That particular Friday started normally enough. I was talking cereal around 2:40 a.m. while the store cleaning machines hummed in the distance. Only a few customers remained inside. An older couple near pharmacy, a guy asleep in the subway seating area, and a woman slowly walking through home goods pushing an empty cart. I noticed her mostly because she had been there for almost 2 hours, never buying anything, just wandering. At one point I mentioned her to another employee named Carlos. He glanced toward home goods briefly, then immediately looked away. Don't worry about her, he muttered. That response bothered me more than it should have. Why? Carlos kept opening boxes without looking at me. Just don't. The fluorescent lights overhead flickered once, then steadied. I checked my phone, 3:11 a.m. For some reason my stomach tightened slightly. That stupid warning from Rick came back into my head. If the overhead announcement plays at 3:13, the story suddenly felt quieter. Not empty quieter, different quieter. Like the building itself was listening. Then, every light in Walmart shut off at once. Complete darkness swallowed the aisles. A few customers gasped somewhere nearby. Then emergency lights clicked on overhead. Dim red lighting filled the store. My heart jumped instantly. What the hell? I muttered. Somewhere in the distance, I heard metal doors slamming shut, loud, one after another. Bang, bang, bang. The automatic entrance doors, the emergency exits, the loading bay doors, all locking. My chest tightened. Employees stopped moving around me. Nobody looked surprised. That was the worst part. Carlos slowly set his box cutter down. Then, under his breath, almost like a prayer, he whispered, "Please don't let it play tonight." At exactly 3:13 a.m., the overhead speakers crackled alive, and a voice I had never heard before calmly said, "Attention Walmart associates, the store is now closed." The overhead announcement ended with a burst of static, then silence, heavy silence. Nobody moved, not the employees, not the remaining customers. Even the floor clearing machine somewhere near the grocery had stopped. The dim red emergency lights made the entire store feel unfamiliar, wrong. A Walmart should never look that dark. I looked toward Carlos. "What's going on?" He didn't answer immediately. His eyes stayed fixed down the main aisle toward the front entrance, toward the locked doors. Then quietly, without looking at me, he said, "Count the customers." My stomach tightened slightly. "What?" "Just do it." Something in his voice made me listen. I looked around the store, the old couple near pharmacy, the sleeping guy near Subway, the woman with the empty cart in Home Goods. Three. "Three," I said. Carlos finally looked at me. "No." Cold moved through my chest immediately. "What do you mean, no?" He swallowed hard. There were only 2 customers left before the announcement. I stared at him, then instinctively looked toward the Home Goods again. The woman with the cart was gone, not walking away. Gone. The aisle stood completely empty now. A chill spread slowly across my arms. "That's not funny." Carlos still looked deadly serious. "It's not supposed to happen this early." The overhead speakers crackled again suddenly. Everyone in the aisle flinched. A cheerful female voice echoed through the store. "Reminder to all associates, customer satisfaction is mandatory." The message sounded normal at first, corporate, generic, but there was something slightly wrong with the voice. The pauses were too long, the tone too perfect, like an AI trying to sound human. Then came another message. "Please assist all remaining customers." Static followed. The lights flickered overhead, and somewhere far across the store, a shopping cart slammed violently into a shelf. The sound echoed through multiple aisles. Nobody spoke. Then another employee hurried toward us from electronics, a woman named Denise. She looked pale. "Sporting goods," she whispered quickly. "There's somebody back there." Carlos cursed under his breath immediately. "How many?" "I only saw one." Carlos grabbed the pallet jack handle tightly. "Did it see you?" Denise hesitated, then nodded slowly. Nobody said anything after that. I felt completely lost now. What are you people talking about? Carlos looked at me like he was deciding whether to tell me something. Then finally, "They aren't customers." The fluorescent lights buzzed loudly overhead, then dimmed further. My chest tightened hard. No, this had to be some kind of prank, some overnight employee tradition taken too far. It had to be. Then I heard movement behind me, a shopping cart rolling slowly across tile. I turned immediately. The woman from Home Goods stood at the end of the cereal aisle, perfectly still, hands resting on the cart handle, watching us. Something about her looked wrong now, not obvious at first glance, just subtle things. Her smile was slightly too wide, her posture too stiff. And her eyes, they never blinked. Carlos immediately lowered his voice. "Don't talk to her." The woman tilted her head slowly. Then, in a calm voice, she said, "Can you help me find something?" Every employee around me went completely silent. The overhead lights flickered harder now. The woman pushed the cart forward slightly. Its wheels squeaked softly against the floor. "Excuse me," she repeated. Her smile widened further. "I need help." Carlos whispered without taking his eyes off her. "If they ask twice, don't answer." My heart started pounding harder. "What happens if you do?" Nobody answered. The woman pushed the cart closer again. Her movements looked delayed somehow, like a video skipping frames. "Excuse me?" The overhead speaker suddenly crackled loudly again. The same cheerful voice echoed through the store. "Associate assistance required in aisle 16. Every employee near me froze instantly. Carlos looked terrified now. "No," he whispered. The announcement repeated, "Associate assistance required in aisle 16. Then one final sentence played slowly through the speakers. "Immediate response is mandatory." And somewhere deep in the store, something screamed. The scream echoed through the entire Walmart, long, human, then abruptly cut off. Silence crashed over the store immediately after. Nobody moved. The woman with the shopping cart was still standing at the end of the aisle, smiling at us, perfectly still. The fluorescent lights buzzed overhead, then flickered again. For one horrifying second, the woman appeared closer, not walking, just suddenly nearer when the lights came back. Carlos grabbed my arm hard. "Don't look away from her." "What is happening?" I whispered. His voice shook slightly when he answered, "They copy customers." Cold moved through my chest instantly. "What?" Before he could answer, the overhead speakers crackled again. "Final reminder, assistance required in aisle 16. Then static. The woman finally moved again, slowly pushing the empty cart sideways across the aisle. Her eyes never left us, and that's when I noticed something terrifying. The wheels on the cart weren't making sound anymore. They moved silently across the tile. Denise backed away first. "We need to go." Carlos nodded immediately. "To the break room." The woman's smile widened further, then she spoke again, this time using a completely different voice. "Male, older. Please don't leave me here." My stomach dropped. The sleeping man from Subway. It was his voice, exactly his voice. Carlos pulled me hard down the aisle. "Move." We turned the corner quickly into grocery. Other employees were already hurrying through the store quietly. Nobody running, nobody screaming, just moving fast with terrified faces, like they'd done this before. I caught up beside Denise. "How long has this been happening?" She swallowed hard before answering. "Years." That answer hit me harder than it should have. Years? No way. No way something like this could happen regularly. Then why were they acting so prepared? We passed frozen foods on the way toward the back employee hallway. The freezer lights flickered violently behind the glass doors, and inside one of the freezer aisles, I saw movement. A person standing between the shelves, watching us. Its reflection in the glass looked distorted somehow, too tall, limbs too long. Then the lights blinked again, and it disappeared. I stopped walking for half a second. Big mistake. The overhead speakers immediately crackled, loud. "Associate stopping during active shift is prohibited." Every employee around me froze instantly. Then all at once, heads turned toward me, not the employees, the customers, the fake customers. I suddenly realized there were more of them now, far more, standing silently at the end of aisles throughout the store, watching, some holding baskets, some pushing carts, all completely still, every face smiling. Carlos shoved me forward hard. Keep moving. The fake customers started walking toward us, not running, slow, calm, their carts rolling silently across the floor. The overhead lights dimmed again, then emergency red lighting returned fully. The Walmart transformed instantly. Dark aisles, long shadows. The store suddenly looked endless. The overhead voice returned. Customer satisfaction levels are dropping. Then another voice joined it, lower, distorted. Corrective action required. A loud metallic crash exploded somewhere near electronics, then rapid footsteps. Something moving fast through the aisles, way too fast. Denise looked terrified now. It found somebody. We reached the employee hallway near the break room doors. Carlos swiped his badge quickly. The security door buzzed open. Everyone rushed inside, except one employee, a teenage stalker named Ellie. He froze near the hallway entrance, staring back toward the store. "What's wrong?" Denise whispered. Ellie's face had gone pale. "There's someone standing by the registers." Carlos cursed immediately. "Don't look at it." But Ellie already had. The kid whispered slowly, "It's my mom." Silence. Then from the dark sales floor beyond the hallway, a woman's voice called softly, "Ellie, honey." My blood ran cold. The voice sounded heartbreakingly real. Ellie took one step toward the store. Carlos grabbed him instantly, held him. Two employees pulled Ellie backward as he struggled. "That's my mom." The voice came again from the darkness, closer now. "Why won't you help me?" Ali stopped fighting suddenly. His face changed completely, confusion replacing panic. Then he whispered something that made every employee in that hallway go silent. "My mom died last year." And from somewhere out on the dark Walmart floor, something started laughing. The laughter echoed through the dark store, not loud, not wild, soft, controlled, like something trying very hard to imitate human laughter without understanding it completely. Ali's face drained of color. The voice calling for him continued from the sales floor. Closer now. "Ali, come help me." He started shaking. "I hear her," he whispered. Carlos tightened his grip on the kid's shoulder. "That's not your mother." The overhead lights flickered hard again, and for one split second, I saw figures moving past the hallway entrance outside, tall shadows gliding silently between aisles, then darkness swallowed them again. The security door behind us slammed shut automatically. Bang! Everyone jumped. The electronic lock clicked. Red light. Locked. Denise cursed under her breath immediately. "That's earlier than usual." I looked around the employee hallway. Break room door, manager office, security office farther down. The employees looked terrified but organized, like this was a tornado drill they'd memorized long ago. That realization scared me more than anything else. Carlos finally looked directly at me. "You need to understand something fast." His voice was deadly serious now. "If they get close enough to talk to you," he paused, "they'll learn you." Cold moved through my chest. What does that mean? Nobody answered immediately. Then Ellie suddenly spoke in a quiet, trembling voice. They start sounding like people you trust. Silence. The overhead speakers crackled again. This time the cheerful corporate voice sounded distorted, like multiple voices layered underneath it. "Attention associates, thank you for your continued service." The lights dimmed lower. Emergency red glow filled the hallway completely now. Then the security monitors inside the office suddenly turned on by themselves. Every screen flickered alive. Camera feeds from across the Walmart. I stepped closer instinctively. The store floor looked packed. My stomach dropped instantly. Hundreds of customers standing motionless through the aisles. Way more than should have been possible. Some facing shelves, some facing cameras, some standing completely still in checkout lines, every single one smiling. The footage flickered, then several faces on different cameras slowly turned upward simultaneously, looking directly into the security cameras, like they knew we were watching. Denise whispered, "There's more than before." One monitor suddenly zoomed automatically toward electronics. A figure stood there near the television section, tall, wearing a Walmart vest, its face hidden in darkness. The camera image glitched violently when it moved. Then the figure looked directly into the camera and spoke. No audio should have come through, but somehow we all heard it clearly through the monitor speakers. "One associate is unauthorized." Every employee in the hallway slowly looked at me. My chest tightened instantly. "No." Carlos swore quietly. "That's bad." The figure on the monitor tilted its head unnaturally far to one side, then smiled. The screen filled with static immediately after. At the exact same moment, something heavy slammed against the security door outside. Everyone jumped hard. Another slam followed, louder. The metal door bent slightly inward, then came scratching, long nails dragging slowly across steel. Ellie started panicking again. "We need to leave." "There's nowhere to go," Denise whispered. Carlos looked toward the security office at the end of the hall. "There's one place." Nobody looked relieved when he said it. That told me everything. The overhead speakers suddenly switched on again, but this time, the voice speaking was mine, perfectly copied. "Hey guys, open the door." Every employee froze instantly. I felt ice run through my chest. The voice laughed softly through the speakers. My voice. Exactly my voice. Then it spoke again. "I know all of you now." And all across the security monitors, every fake customer in Walmart suddenly stopped moving at the exact same time. Then slowly, they all started walking toward the employee hallway together. The security monitors became impossible to look away from. Every aisle, every department, every camera feed showed them moving toward us. Slowly, calmly, hundreds of fake customers pushing carts through the dark Walmart under flickering red lights. None of them running. They didn't need to, because they already knew where we were. The overhead speakers crackled softly again. My own voice whispered through the store, "You should let me in." A violent bang hit the security door. The metal frame shook hard enough to rattle the hallway lights. Allie flinched backward. Another slam followed immediately after, then another. Something outside was hitting the door with enough force to bend steel. Carlos grabbed a ring of keys from his pocket. "Move," he snapped. Everyone hurried down the hallway toward the security office. I stayed close behind, trying not to look at the monitors again, but I did anyway, and immediately I regretted it. One camera showed the front registers. The fake customers had stopped there now. all facing directly toward the employee hallway entrance, standing perfectly still, like they were waiting for instructions. Then simultaneously, every single one of them smiled wider. The monitor cut to static instantly. We reached the security office at the end of the hall. Carlos unlocked the door quickly. Inside looked more like a bunker than an office. Heavy reinforced walls, extra locks, backup generators humming softly, and taped beside the security monitors, rules, printed rules. My stomach tightened immediately. There were at least 20 of them, some normal, some absolutely not. Do not answer overhead announcements after 3:13 a.m. Never assist customers who approach silently. If a customer knows your name without asking, leave the area immediately. Do not follow voices into closed departments. Then I saw the final rule at the bottom. The words were underlined several times. If the store learns your voice, do not speak. Cold moved through my chest instantly. Too late, way too late. Carlos locked the office door behind us. 4 locks clicked into place. Nobody looked relieved. Denise turned toward me slowly. You answered them earlier. It wasn't a question. I swallowed hard. The overhead speakers crackled again immediately. This time, multiple versions of my voice spoke together. Different tones, different emotions, all layered unnaturally over each other. Open the door. I need help. Please let me in. You left me outside. My pulse started hammering. The employees avoided looking at me now, like I was contagious. Then suddenly, the backup monitors flickered on by themselves. A single camera feed appeared. Aisle 16. The camera quality looked older than the others, grainy, black and white, and standing in the middle of the aisle was me. Exact Walmart uniform, exact face, holding a box cutter, smiling. The thing on the monitor slowly looked upward toward the camera, then raised one hand and waved. My stomach dropped violently. No. Carlos looked genuinely scared now. That's never happened before. The fake version of me on the screen opened its mouth slowly, and through the security office speakers, my own voice said, "You kept the shift waiting." Then every monitor in the room switched feeds at once. Not Walmart cameras anymore. Different stores, different Walmarts, different states. Each monitor showing dark overnight aisles under emergency red lights, and on every screen, fake customers standing motionless between shelves, watching. The realization hit me so hard I felt dizzy. This wasn't just one Walmart. The overhead speakers came alive one final time. The cheerful corporate voice had completely changed now, lower, bigger somehow, like the entire building itself was speaking. All locations are now synchronized. The lights inside the security office immediately shut off. Complete darkness swallowed the room, and from directly outside the office door, I heard my own voice whisper softly, "Shift manager has arrived." Nobody moved in the darkness. Nobody even breathed. Outside the security office door, my voice laughed softly, not normal laughter, too smooth, too controlled, like something practicing human emotion. Then came a slow knock against the metal door. Knock, knock, knock. Every employee in the room froze. The emergency backup lights flickered weakly overhead, bathing the office in dim red light again. Carlos slowly backed up from the door. For the first time all night, he looked completely hopeless. Another knock echoed through the office. Then my voice spoke again, calm, patient. "Open up." The reinforced door bent inward slightly. Something outside was strong enough to dent solid steel. Denise whispered, "It's never gotten this far." The overhead speakers crackled alive one last time, but now there was no fake, cheerful tone left, only static, and beneath the static, thousands of voices whispering together. Customers, employees, children's, all layered together unnaturally. Then one sentence became clear: the store is now under new management. The lights died again, complete darkness. Immediately, the banging on the office door stopped. Silence filled the room, heavy silence, then footsteps inside the security office. My blood ran cold instantly. Someone gasped behind me. The emergency lights flickered back on for half a second, and I saw it standing near the monitors. Me, or something wearing me. Perfect Walmart vest, perfect face, but the smile stretched impossibly wide. The lights died again immediately. People started screaming in the darkness. Furniture overturned. Something moved fast across the room, too fast. I heard Carlos shout, "Don't look at it." Then a wet, cracking sound cut him off. The emergency lights flashed again. Carlos was gone. Only blood smeared across the security monitors remained. The thing wearing my face stood closer now, watching me, smiling wider. The lights flickered out again. Panic exploded inside me. I grabbed blindly through the darkness and found the office door handle, unlocked it, and ran. The hallway outside was empty, completely empty. No fake customers, no employees, just red emergency lights flickering overhead. I sprinted toward the loading bay exit at the back of the store. Behind me, footsteps followed calmly, not chasing, walking. My own voice echoed through the hallway speakers. "You can't leave during your shift." I ran harder, past receiving, past stacked pallets, past dark aisles filled with silent shelves. The Walmart no longer felt like a store. It felt endless, like the building kept stretching farther the more I moved through it. Then suddenly, I saw the loading dock doors ahead. One was slightly open, cold night air spilling inside. Relief hit me so hard it almost hurt. I sprinted toward it. Behind me, the footsteps finally sped up, fast, too fast. I dove through the loading bay opening just as something grabbed the back of my vest. The fabric tore violently, then I hit pavement outside. Real pavement, cold air, real night. I scrambled backward across the employee parking lot, gasping for breath. The loading dock slammed shut instantly behind me. Silence. The Walmart stood completely normal again. Bright lights, regular signs, empty parking lot, no red emergency lighting. Nothing strange at all. A passing semi-truck rolled down the interstate nearby. Normal life, normal sounds. I sat there shaking for almost 20 minutes before finally calling the police. They searched the building before sunrise, found nothing unusual, no missing employees, no signs of violence. According to Walmart records, Carlos and Denise had never worked there. Neither had Ellie. Their employee IDs didn't exist, their names weren't in the system, and the strangest part, security footage showed me alone in the store the entire night, talking to myself, running through empty aisles, screaming at nothing. I quit the next morning, never went back. For months, I convinced myself exhaustion caused everything. Stress, sleep deprivation, some kind of breakdown. That explanation worked until last week. I was shopping at a completely different Walmart, Different city, different state, everything felt normal until the overhead speakers crackled at exactly 3:13 a.m. and a familiar, cheerful voice calmly said, "Attention associates, welcome back." My phone vibrated immediately after. One new notification appeared on the screen. No sender, no number, only 5 words. Your shift never really ended. And somewhere nearby, I heard a shopping cart rolling slowly toward me. I am Fred, and some stories are never supposed to end.